everybody, and welcome to the Attempted Optimism Podcast, where we are just trying our very best. I'm Justin.
And I'm Ben, and I apologize for the strange faces and things you may see at the beginning of this YouTube video. We always try to have a good time introing, and it normally brings us a good giggle. But on this week's episode of the podcast, we are going to have a little bit of fun. Now, Justin has absolutely no concept of what we're doing tonight, correct?
I mean, that's usually the case, but yeah.
That's not wrong. That's not wrong. So, my original idea for tonight's podcast was actually to do like a nostalgia episode. Talk about things that maybe we had as kids that don't exist anymore, kind of bring back a nostalgic feel. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought to myself, gosh, that would be so depressing considering how the world is right now. Like,
Yeah.
we go down a rabbit trail talking about nostalgic things and then went, wow.
Let's get sad.
Yeah, so I decided not to be sad, and instead, I decided to throw it back old school. So,
You're going to throw it back, huh?
I'm going to throw it back for you, okay? See me on TikTok. Hey, yo. No, so here's what we're going to do. So first of all, did you date in high school?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever do those, like, getting to know you questions? You know, like, you would ask each other back and forth to know, like, because you wanted to know every single detail about that other person because you're going to be with them forever, even though it was, like, 2 weeks long? Did you ever do that?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to play a version of that game. We're going to play a little get to know you, but the questions aren't quite in line. Like, it's not like a what's your favorite color. Instead, it's kind of like our first question. So I'll just transition into our first question. The first question.
Sure.
The zombie apocalypse is coming. Who are 3 people you want on your team? So you have a 4-man squad. You pick your 3. Who do you want?
What are the rules? Is it like anybody that lives?
Well, I think I would go most likely with people you know, but I mean, because it's like
I wouldn't.
I mean, it's not like you can just call up the
I'm
Rock.
trying to survive.
Yeah, it's not like you can call up the Rock and be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to be on my squad?" But
Right.
3 people you know, who are you choosing?
3 people I know. Now, I would definitely have to say you.
Appreciate that.
Because, one, you're fast, but also you don't eat as much as me, probably.
Yeah.
So I could get more food, presumably. And because we like to play, like, Warzone and things like that, we're tactical thinkers, right? We know we're zoned in with each other and how to be a squad. So I think that would be something that would have to be important.
Okay.
Now, I would also have to pick my twin brother Josh, because my twin brother Josh is a gun nut, and he has
Smart.
Not to put him on blast there. He's got some firearms.
Okay, I like the strategy.
More than that, he's got a lot of firearm experience. He shoots a lot, more than I do. I used to shoot a lot, but he shoots more than I do. And then finally, we would need somebody to round all of that out. We would need somebody who, like, we can fight. Or y'all can fight. I would need some kind of person to be our survivalist, right? We would need somebody who is a prepper. And the only person that I can think of who has spent a lot of time trying to, like, figure some of these things out is actually my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she like looks into a lot of this stuff, and it's probably my fault from like when we first started
I believe
dating,
that.
Engagement and all that kind of things. It shows the way the world looked then, which oddly enough is not nearly as bad as the way the world looks now. But she's super interested in a lot of those like survivalist, tips and tricks and hacks and all that kind of stuff. So she'd probably be helpful, and at the very least she would know how to calm me down when I break into tears and go into the fetal position.
Yeah. Okay. So I think for me, I haven't thought about this a lot just for context, but I'm definitely like first choice on my team. I'm bringing my father-in-law because he's like
I thought about him.
He's definitely like a prepper. Like he's got stuff ready. Plus he's got like all of this knowledge that I don't have. Like I 100% think he could be like a Cub Scout leader or something. Like he just has off the top knowledge of things of how to survive. So I'm definitely bringing him. My second choice is my brother, Jordan. Now, I'm not sure why I'm bringing Jordan, but I think just deep down in my gut, I have a feeling
sorry, Jordan. Does Jordan watch these?
He used to, so he might see this one. But I definitely like think that he has some kind of knowledge of a zombie apocalypse that is gonna come in handy at some point. Now, what is it? I don't know, but it's gonna,
esoteric stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be important when it comes. It's gonna be like the saving thing. And then my fourth team member. See, I was gonna bring you, and then you really talked yourself down. Like I thought you would be somebody who had a zombie apocalypse plan. And then you said it's your wife that has one. So that doesn't help me at all. You really threw yourself.
I have a plan.
You really threw. Why do you look off in the air like that? Like you really have one. Like, I have a plan. I used to have plans. I used to have dreams. So I guess since you threw yourself down the well and you didn't help yourself, I'm going to bring Nikaroki because that dude
has a great beard.
Absolutely, that's what we're going to go with. I don't want to rat him out on podcast, but he's going to be helpful in the long run. All right.
Okay.
And he's also done he's the only person I know since becoming a Salvation Army officer that's done more disasters than anyone. Like dude's on a disaster every 2 weeks. Like he gets deployed, so he definitely has the knowledge to handle a zombie apocalypse. So that's my 4-man. I'm sorry that I left you out.
I get it.
If I had gone first, you were going to be on my list. But you talked yourself out of my list as you talked. So imagine how that works out. All right, so that's question number 1. Question number 2. This is an easier one.
Sure.
What is your most used emoji? So you might have to look at your phone. I know mine off the top of my head because of how much I use it. So my most used emoji is the thumbs up. My wife hates that I use it.
I would agree with that.
She hates that I use it. I send it for everything. She'll be like, pick something up at the store. I send the thumbs up emoji. Like, and I don't even do thumbs up in like normal life.
There's a with Ben Godwin.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I use the thumbs up emoji for everything. So that's definitely my most used emoji. Do you know what yours is? You should be able to like click on your emoji list and it would be like the first one that pops up. I think.
Yeah. So it's gonna be what is this one called? It's haha, I guess. It's the one with the tears.
Oh yeah, the tears laughing face. Yeah, that I'm not surprised by that one.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of my deal because I make myself sick to my stomach when I type LOL.
I haven't used LOL in like 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. LOL. But yeah, I see my favorite thing as far as like emojis go, my favorite thing is just I prefer to use GIFs.
Yeah, that's what you use. You send a lot of GIFs compared to an emoji. Yeah.
I do. My family texts, like with the strict family members, it's like all GIFs at this point.
That's awesome. That's how it should be.
So,
less talk, more funny.
More graphical.
That's my new life. Images. That's my new life motto. Less talk, more funny.
Less talk, more gifts.
All right, question 3. This should be entertaining. Have you ever been told you look like someone famous? And if so, who was it?
Currently, I look like the famous streamer Tim the Tatman a little bit.
You do?
No tats.
Yeah, bald, red beard. Okay.
Yeah, I was bald before he was. I just want to put that out in the ether.
I don't think that makes... Like it's not a record. Like I don't know if that.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever been told that I look like somebody famous.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm just kind of an average looking dude.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I look like me.
You look like you, and you can be famous.
I'm YouTube famous.
All right, buddy? Yeah, absolutely you are. Absolutely.
What about you?
When I was a kid, so of course we grew up in like the 90s, early 2000s. When I was a kid, I got told I looked like Harry Potter a lot, but that's not, I mean, it's not a famous person. It's a literary character. But, so I guess Daniel Radcliffe, kind of, when I was a kid. And then for like a 1 year period of my life, I got told that I looked like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and that was before I got fat and grew a goatee. So now it's all gone. Now I just look like me. So, but that's.
I've ever known you without the goatee.
That's really it. No, you definitely have not known me without the goatee.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, it's horrifying. It's a terrifying sight. I need that, like, I need those, like, things where you can, like, sculpt your jawline, because I don't have one. That's why I have a goatee.
A beard? Is it a beard? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about those things you, like, bite or whatever, and it's supposed to, like, sculpt your jaw. I don't know. It's not a real thing. It's something you buy on TV. But, no, I really don't. I haven't really gotten that. Like, there's nobody that I can think of off the top of my head. Somebody like, you look like that person. Because some people have that. Like, I've met people who 100% look like... I have a guy that I went to college with for a year who... I mean, he looks just like Jim Carrey. And he can do the facial expressions and everything. And so, like, it's an automatic spot on. Like, you see him and you're like, that's Jim Carrey. But, no, nothing else for me. Okay. Question 4. So, I don't know if this is something you did. I certainly did it. But do you name your cars? Like, have you owned a car, you give it a name? Is that something you've done?
No. I've never owned a car. But my wife has owned a car. Wait.
You've never owned a car?
No, not at all.
Okay, now we've just entered into interesting waters here.
So here's the thing. When I didn't even get my driver's license until I was 19.
Oh, I got mine when I was 18, so I feel that.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, I didn't care enough. So
I didn't either.
Like, the thing about it is like, I had an older brother, he's 3 years older than me, and he had a car as quickly as he possibly could. And my twin brother didn't have a car necessarily, but he got his driver's license as soon as he possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And so anywhere I wanted to go, I just
bum a ride.
My brothers,
absolutely.
bum a ride. I was, and there were a lot of reasons why I didn't really care about driving necessarily. I didn't really go anywhere. I spent a lot of time at home.
Imagine that.
Exactly. So yeah, it was never really a thing that kind of interested me. I got married at the age of 20, and I didn't leave the house until I got married. So I was 20 years old, literally living in my parents' basement.
Makes sense.
Because the house that we had in Nashville had a completed basement, and my twin brother and I each had our own rooms down in the basement. And so my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, and then my fiance and my wife had a car, and
what was the car's name?
We just used her car. It was a tiny little Honda Civic,
okay,
and it was white.
Yep.
So she called it Cotton because it looked like a cotton
nice
ball.
Yeah, little cotton ball.
Cool. Yeah. So that was our car.
Nice.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It was really her car.
Yeah.
She paid it off. She was big on getting, like, she got her license like when she was 15 or 16 or something, and then went on, immediately got a decent job and started paying off a car, and she's had like 3 cars or something.
Yeah, so I like you, I didn't get my license until I was 18, and it was similar. Like, I had an older sister. She's 2 years older than me, so for most of high school, she would take me wherever I wanted to go. And then once she graduated and moved out of the house, my mom worked for the school that I went to. So I was like, I don't need a car. Like, my mom will take me, or I have friends that'll drive me. Like, it's not like the end of the world that I can't drive myself somewhere. Because, like you, I didn't really go anywhere unless it was either to work or to work. Like, I went, like,
yeah, exactly.
Or if I went to, like, a friend's house, they would get me. So it's not a big, like, issue or anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my wife actually tells a story about how my mom was out of town for some reason. And this is when we just went to high school together. We're just friends. But she lived around the corner in the neighborhood, and so she had to come and pick me and my brother up, who are both older. Like, neither my brother or I, this is our senior year of high school, have our license. She has to come pick us up for school and take us to school, which is hilarious. But my first car didn't have a name because my brother and I shared it. Blue El Camino. It was legit, old school, no air conditioning, horrible. My second car didn't have a name either, but I only had it for like 2 months. But when I bought my first car, 1999 Toyota Avalon XL, best car there is in the world. I would still, if I could find one, I would buy another one. It had like actual leather seats, moonroof, the whole deal.
Yep.
It was slick, everything automatic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I named it Lucy, off of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I'm a big Beatles fan, so and I feel like cars should have female names. I don't know why. It's just like boats almost always have female names. I don't know why that's a thing. Maybe I should do research. But Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
I think it's bad luck if you don't name them or something.
Yeah, I agree. Except for I don't name my cars now because I don't own them. So there's no point in naming a van that's not mine. So, all right.
Yeah. Well, before you do that, I remember though, like you talking about your car. There was a car that I drove for work. It was a Salvation Army vehicle that I drove while I was working for the Salvation Army before I was an officer, and it was a Crown Victoria.
Let's go.
That's
big time.
That to me is the best car in the world. Like I could drive that thing 150 miles an hour through a building.
Yeah, and it would still be good.
It would just damage the building.
Yeah.
It wouldn't touch the car.
Yeah, I really miss my car. Like it's one of those vehicles. Like I had it for so many years. When I bought it, I think it was 100,000 miles on it. When I got rid of it, it was 300,000 miles. So I drove like 200,000 miles in that car. So much of my life was with that car. I have great memories and also terrible memories with that. Like I had my whole front bumper and lights ripped off going 75 miles an hour down a highway. Like just wild stuff. But I think the car is still alive and out there. When we were commissioned from the training college, Charlie and I gave it to one of our session mates' sons. So one of our classmates, if you don't know the Salvation Army, one of his sons who was turning 16. So it's out there somewhere, hopefully. It's still alive. Yeah, well, so the funny thing about that is, and I wasn't even going to go into that story, but so I was going to surprise him, right? I was going to surprise my friend Jake's son with the car. And so Jake and I talked. I asked if it was cool. I gave him the car because we knew we weren't going to need it, and it was 300,000 miles on it. I got plenty of years out of it. So I go get the title from the Atlanta whatever, the people you get the title from. So I went and made sure the title was good, and we made sure I signed it off to Jake. So this is literally the last day I'm going to have it. I'm going to go get an oil change, put gas in it, and get it car washed. Because if you've lived in Atlanta, you know, like, if you don't get a car wash every day, your car looks horrible, or you just don't get it at all. So I was like, I'm going to give it to him looking great. So I'm driving down the road, and Atlanta has these horrendous streets where it's 3 one-way and 2 coming off the highway to turn into a 5 one-way. So I'm coming off of the highway in like this lane. So the first one-way is right next to me as I come off the highway.
Yeah.
We're coming up, we get to a stoplight, and there's a giant sign that says, "Do not turn right from the middle lane." So it would have been the right lane for the people who had been on the one-way, but it's now become the middle lane. And what do you know? This dude, as I'm about to pull up the light, turns right. And there's no stopping. I'm coming off of a highway. So I do my best to do like a spin maneuver because I see him, he's going to hit me. I couldn't dodge it. He destroyed the whole front driver's side of my car, basically, the day I'm giving it to my friend Jake's son. And that was a horrible day for me because it was just like, I'm just going to try to help fix this up to give it to him. It was a worse day for the guy that hit me because it was his wife and his mother-in-law in the car, and he was taking his mother-in-law to the airport, and she was already late. And he looks at me, and of course, like, I'm, 24, 25 years old. He looks at me and he's like, "Can you please just let me leave and take her to the airport?" And I'm like, "No." Because I'm like, I don't know you from Bob, and like, I want to make sure I'm getting my money out of this deal. So he had to sit there while his wife and his mother-in-law screamed at him for like 2 hours because she missed her flight because he ran into me. But the car worked out. It actually worked out better than you can imagine, but we're not going to get into that story because we've got other questions. That's a story for another time. All right, question number 5. And I like this one because this would be a dream job of mine, but also be terrifying. You have your own late night talk show. All right? So you're like Jimmy Fallon, basically.
Right.
Or you would be Conan.
I'd be Conan?
Oh, I'm wrong. You'd be James Corden. Okay.
You know what?
Jokes aside.
I'll take it.
You have your own late night talk show. Who do you invite as your first guest? Who is the opener of your new late night show?
Okay.
And this is a tough one for me. I've been thinking about this since I saw the questions, and I'm not even sure.
Yeah. So it would have to be somebody who is like a big personality.
Yeah. You want somebody who's a big deal. You want something.
Yeah. So who do we know? Like, because it can't be somebody like Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is bad at talk shows.
Oh, I have 2 that I would invite. Now that I'm thinking about him.
Oh, is Joaquin Phoenix one of them?
No. I just thought of my first 2 guests. Because
okay.
For context, like my wife and I used to watch Jimmy Fallon like every night. We love the show. We always feel like he's really entertaining. My first 2 guests that I would bring on, in any order, or maybe even the same night, because sometimes they have double guests. I'd want Robert Irwin to come on because that's incredible, and I'd want Lin-Manuel Miranda to come on.
All right,
because he's a huge personality. He could bring a lot to the table, whether it's music or just talking. So I'd want to bring those 2 on. That's my first 2.
Yep. Those aren't bad at all.
I
don't think I can come up with anything. No, I would probably do something like, because you look at Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, when he is in his sort of prime, a lot of people call him a sycophant, but a lot of people,
you're right.
When he's in his prime, it's because he has somebody that he's friends with.
Absolutely.
Like Timberlake or something like that. So, I would probably have, to be perfectly honest with you, I would bring my mom.
I love that. That's a great first guest.
I would probably bring my mom because I feel like if I've got a talk show, it's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's not.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not professionally done at all.
Yours is the Graham Norton show, basically. If you know Graham Norton,
exactly.
Like, that's your like. It's a British talk show that's or one of those Japanese talk shows. That's outrageous.
And let's be clear. That is the premier talk show.
Graham Norton. If you don't know, he's a British talk show host. It is. If you like talk shows, it is the greatest talk show on earth.
Yeah.
Nobody compares to Graham Norton as far as quality, as far as the way that he is able to run his show. Like, it's so enjoyable. I think for a lot of reasons is because they normally bring on 4 or 5 guests, and they're all just sitting on couches.
And then they just chat.
They just do their thing. I love it. I love Graham Norton. And then they shoot somebody out of a chair at the end of it.
Yeah. See, I would probably do, somebody that has known me my whole life, and let that be kind of its own little celebration of how did I get here, or why am I here.
It brings really good quality to the show. For sure. Shoot, I might bring Graham Norton on for my first one and just have him interview me on my show.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, can you just do this for me? Or,
can you just do my show?
Yeah. Or I would probably do like a Jim Krasinski.
John Krasinski? Who's Jim? That's his brother. Jim Krasinski.
I was thinking about Jim Halpert.
You were thinking about The Office. You just combine the characters.
Yeah. What's that dude's name? The one with the funny hair?
John Krasinski would be a really good guest. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would think John Krasinski, because I really like what he's done with his A Little Good News. What is it? How does it go?
I don't know the name of his thing. I've seen some episodes.
A little good news. Something like that. Anyway.
That'd be a good one.
I like the idea of his positive, kind of lightweight feel of everything that he's got going on.
Nice. All right. Question number 6. Pretty lightweight. You have to sing karaoke. All right.
All right.
What song do you pick?
Stay at the Wyatts. Okay.
That's a volume warning. We'll have to put that on the podcast. So what is your song? What is your go-to song for karaoke? Have we talked about this?
Oh, shoot. I even thought about this because so every year for your first 5 years as a Salvation Army officer,
tell them about it.
We all go to preach the word.
Amen,
we
brother.
all go to Trevecca Nazarene University as a way of kind of continuing education, things like that.
Yep.
And when you're there, you get together with friends that you haven't seen in a long time,
Yep.
and you're all like knee deep in a very difficult ministry, and so it becomes this time where you just really need to spend time and unwind together
and have fun.
And so my session is my class. We started at 37 of the most ridiculous people I've ever met. And I couldn't tell you where we're at now without doing some ridiculous math, but for those of us that are left, getting together is always kind of a bizarre thing, and it's kind of it's enjoyable, but
it's bizarre.
Like we would do things that were a little contrary. Most classes will go out to eat or something. One year our session went to a mystery dinner theater. And had just a wild.
That's
time
genuinely not surprising when I think about who I know is in your session. Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
Exactly. And so we like to have fun. And one time I suggested, we never did it, but I suggested that we go to karaoke. And there's always this one song that I wanted to do, which I can't remember what it is, but it was probably something like I would probably do something that would require me not to be there by myself.
So like
I'm a very self-conscious
you're looking
person.
for like a group or like a duet to go wild.
Like I would probably get a handful of people up there and do like Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or something like that. Because it would have to be something that I would know, but also something that's like absurd and kind of mocks the situation.
It has to be outrageous.
Yeah, it would have to be something that would catch people off guard. So I would probably be spending a lot of time in the little book that the DJ has trying to figure out what my song would be.
You'd be trying to go towards the end, so maybe people will forget that you haven't gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that. I mean, for me, like, you'll never catch me dead doing karaoke. I'll just say that right now. Like, I would have to be drunk, and I don't drink, so you're never going to catch me doing karaoke. Like, I mean, like, there is a 0.0.0.1% chance you're catching me do karaoke. And because I hate singing in front of groups, I have to do it. But, like, worship is different for me because that's not about me. But, like, when you go up and do karaoke, people are watching you to see what you do. All that being said, I would probably do something outrageous. Like, I would find, like, a very deep country song to just mock the voice so that I could do, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not my voice. It's, like, a fake country accent. Or I would do, like, Wonderwall, but with, like, exactly. Like, absolutely. Something like that. I might do Wonderwall, because that's, like, if I have to choose, Wonderwall is, like, a good go-to. I could play that on guitar, so it might take away from the fact that
we could do some Yellow Card, you and me.
Dude, let's go wild.
You're my only one.
Yeah, so I mean, it would have to be something like that is very poignantly me making fun of myself while doing it.
Yeah.
Because I hate karaoke. Like,
I don't like it.
I hate it. Props to people who do karaoke regularly. Like, that's a boldness that I don't have. Like,
sure.
That's impressive. All right, number 7. It's a tough one. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what is it going to be?
That's not tough at all, bro.
Why do you know that right off the top of your head? I mean, it is food related. Like, I get that. Yeah.
Bro. I said it a minute ago. You remember when we were playing that game?
What you going with?
That game that ended?
What you going with?
Steak and potatoes.
Really? Every day?
Very simple. Very simple. Give me a medium steak with peppercorn on top, crushed peppercorn on top. Maybe, if we're splurging, a little bit of blue cheese crumble. Okay, cooked in there.
I mean, it's your meal for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So you can do whatever you want.
That's what's up. And then mashed potatoes, no gravy, because that's sinful. And
we interrupt this
with maybe loaded mashed potatoes.
We interrupt this broadcast for a special announcement. We have lost Justin from the podcast. We'll be finding someone who likes potatoes with gravy. No, I'm just kidding.
Get out of here.
It's your meal, okay? Your meal.
And then finally, I would do very simply, like butter and vegetable oil steamed broccoli for the rest of my life.
Okay, side note to your meal, because it does sound good. If you're eating that for the rest of your life, your house is going to smell terrible, because broccoli does not smell good, either cooked or uncooked. It just smells bad. It tastes great, but your house is going to smell terrible.
Yeah, actually, my wife and I, we were cooking one night, and we do a lot of the steamable bags where you buy
I love those.
Throw it in a microwave.
Those. Absolutely.
And it was a thing of broccoli and cauliflower, I think, and we were both standing next to the microwave, and you have that little vent that kind of blows air out, and we both kind of looked to see, trying to see through that little window to see if it was done or whatever, and we both kind of looked at each other at the same time, and she goes, "Did you smoke?" I was like, "No, but did you smoke?" Like she used to smoke a long time ago. I've never smoked, and we don't smoke now.
That's hilarious.
But it smells like straight up Marlboros or something up in this house right now because that broccoli smelled to high heck.
Broccoli is tough. I mean, I just had, another broccoli story for you. This is such a strange podcast we've got going tonight, but
I like it.
So I've got a mini fridge in my office, and so like my wife's office, and our bookkeeper's office, they're all like right in the same section. Like, you could throw a paperclip and hit each other from the doors. Why you do that, I don't know. But I've been trying to eat healthier, trying to lose some weight. So I had a little meal. You put it in the oven. It's got salmon and it's got broccoli. And I had it in my mini fridge. So I went to grab an orange, mandarin orange, out of my mini fridge because I like my mandarin oranges cold. And I popped up in the fridge, and like the broccoli smell was like overwhelming. So I like quickly grabbed my orange and closed it, like hoping nothing's gonna smell. And then I like see my wife, who is very pregnant and has a very good nose, like she wandered into the hallway and like she walks past my office and like looks around, and then she comes back and she's like, "What is that smell?" And I was like, "Just don't worry about it, all right? Like, don't worry about it." She's like, "Is that your mini fridge?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." But it was so overwhelming. Like, broccoli is just, I mean, it's too much, really. It really is. But it tastes great. My meal, because we haven't talked about it. I'm going with also a very simple meal.
Yeah.
I'm going with a shepherd's pie, actual shepherd's pie.
Okay.
With the potatoes browned on the top, right? You know what I'm saying? Shepherd's pie with just, and this is wild, but like 2 slices of buttered toast, white bread, wheat bread, it doesn't matter, and maybe some type of like peaches, strawberry, banana, like fruit cocktail thing on the side. Like, that's all I want. Like, I'm super simple, but like there's something.
Are we talking about like Dole where you have to peel the thing off of the
cup? No, I'm talking about like.
Or like you prepared it.
What's that place called? I'm trying to think. Gosh, I'm throwing up. You know those buffets that you go to? Like, you go in, you get your tray, you walk through the line, you tell them what you want, and then you go and sit down. They bring you your drinks.
Piccadilly or...
Yeah, a place like that. Like, most of the time when you go into one of those places, they've got like a really good fruit cocktail on the end of the bar with like strawberries and bananas. Sometimes you get peaches. Like, I'm talking like that. Like, that might have come out of a cup, but I want their version of it. Like, I don't want to have to do the work to peel it. If this is my last meal every day...
All of this rests on me not having to prepare the meal. If I have to prepare the meal,
I agree
it's like hamburgers.
Yeah, no. If this is me preparing the meal for every day for the rest of my life, I want like a stuffed crust pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut. That's all I want. For the because I'm 100% not doing the work.
Preferably paid for by me.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, those are good meals. I think we can agree that both of those are pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
This is a yes or no question that we can expand upon after we say yes or no. I think it's pretty simple. I think we'll both agree. If aliens landed on Earth tomorrow and offered to take you home with them, would you go?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you. With the contingency is
hard, yes.
I think the contingency for me is like, can I bring my family?
Sure.
And if they say no, then it was good knowing my family. I've got to go with the aliens. No, No,
That's
I
the
mean,
right answer 100% of the time.
I mean,
Can I take my family? Better. Let's go.
no, I mean it's a tough call at that point. Okay, but
Sure.
no, I don't even think we need to we don't really need to go into that. I think we both can understand, and the listeners can understand
Leave it at that. Yeah.
why we're going with the aliens without question.
Yeah.
Okay.
The real question, and tell us in the comments if you said no, and then
Why?
unsubscribe and don't ever talk to us.
No, don't do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
We only have 18 subscribers. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's retain some of them.
Okay, number 9. This is a really good one. I think this is fascinating. If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which ones would you keep? And I'm going to go on a little bit further and say this includes everything that would come on a smartphone. So everything is an app in this regard.
Like the phone?
Texting, phone, FaceTime, they're all apps because technically you could delete them. So you get 3. What are you keeping?
Okay. I would keep the phone functionality.
So you can call people?
Yeah, unfortunately. I would keep the. I can get my emails on the computer, so I would probably keep the text messenger app because I don't like to talk to people on the phone.
Okay.
And I would probably have to, because of where I live, I would have to keep the NOAA app, the National Oceanic Aeronautical something or other. Basically, it's a heavy-duty weather app.
To make sure you stay alive.
I can check weather anywhere in the world.
Nice.
Every time.
Okay.
100% of the time.
Nice.
Because we get a lot of H words around here, and those H words are banned.
Yeah.
And we're not allowed to say those H words.
Okay. All right, we understand. For those of you who understand. If you don't, I'm sorry. You're out of the loop.
Yeah.
All right, for me, first thing to go is the phone. I don't need to talk to you on the phone. I am going to keep FaceTime though.
Sure.
It's basically like if you don't have an iPhone, sorry, or a MacBook, I guess we're not talking. It's been good knowing you.
We don't need to talk
much
anyway.
Love to you. Yeah.
So
I'm keeping FaceTime. I'm keeping text messages because that's my preferable way to keep in contact. And then I'm actually going to keep Google Maps because I feel like that's essential for me because
you have no sense of direction.
I don't read a map very good. I'm very good at getting around places, even if I've been there one time. But as soon as I get on a highway or get going a different, I have to have Google Maps. It's it's an anxiety thing. I have to have the comfort of knowing, even if I know pretty much how to get there. I have to know exactly how to get there. So I'm keeping Google Maps. So you can see my face, or you can text me, but please don't call. Okay.
I kind of like if I didn't keep Noah, I would probably want Marco Polo or something because I really enjoyed our Marco Polo conversations. But Marco Polo, for one, has been crashing.
It needs
on
an
my phone.
update.
It needs some help.
It
needs
does.
a lot of help because it's a very good app, but
Very
it's
good.
it struggles poorly. I can't even open it right now.
Yeah. I understand
It
that.
never notifies you if you get a message from somebody.
All right, number 10, because we're going to end on a number 11, which I think is probably the best one. Number 10, what is a popular band or music artist that everyone enjoys but you don't like? A popular band or music artist that everyone likes but you don't like.
Okay. Let me think about it because I'm sure you have an answer out the gate.
I mean, I think I do.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that U2 is very good. In fact, I would argue that U2 is very bad.
Yeah.
I would possibly, and this is a controversial statement, but I'm going to say it anyways. I would rate U2 below Nickelback. And this is why. Let me tell you why. Nickelback puts out a catchy song. Even if you argue the lyrics are garbage, Yeah,
You
but
didn't like Vertigo?
But you know what? You're still singing Nickelback. All right, it's the year 2020. People are still singing Nickelback. You know what people are not singing?
Vertigo.
U2, because people don't know their songs. People will claim U2's the greatest band ever. Name 50 songs for me there, because they have about 1,000. Name 50 of them that you like, because I can't name one. They all sound the same to me. It's controversial, I know, but I don't like U2. I don't think they're very good. And that's mine.
How you feel?
And I came, to be fair, I couldn't think of one for like the whole time. I've had these questions since like mid-afternoon. I haven't been able to think of one, but then when you started to think, I was like, I know what it is. I also don't like any country music, and I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah.
All right, did you think of anybody? Can you think of anything?
I don't know. Like
Like you're a Taylor Swift fan?
Okay, Taylor Swift. Then we can throw that out there.
You don't like Taylor Swift?
My tastes in music are so bizarre. I feel like because one, they don't match my personality. I guess
Okay.
always. But more importantly, like I don't like what other people like based on like I've said like too much.
That was a lot of likes. But I was waiting for the next one, so.
I do, exactly. I don't think I like things that are on the radio necessarily. So I guess like pop music and things like that.
Mhm.
But there are things that always catch me that are like that have texture, like cradles, suburban cradles,
Yep.
like which we would only know because of TikTok.
Shout out TikTok
Because the
for the
song
40th time.
Exactly. Boy, we are just bizarre people.
Yeah.
Like the song just had texture to it, and that's what I liked about it. And so I went and I took everything that he's done, and I downloaded it.
Yeah.
It was the same way with Armin van Buuren, the EDM DJ. I heard his song "Blah Blah Blah," and I was like, "That's amazing!"
That's
and
my
I
new
downloaded
favorite.
everything the man's ever done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what my deal is.
So
I would
Justin
say,
just like to sum it up, he just doesn't like popular music.
yeah, basically, yeah, 100%. I'd say probably the most popular thing I like is NF.
And that's not really technically popular.
Well, it's not pop music for sure.
No. But I would argue that it's not even.
He has exploded, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I would still argue that he's not popular, because if you were like, even though he's done like Super Bowl commercials, he's done video game releases recently. He's done like he's huge on TikTok. He's huge on Twitter. He's huge, but that's like if we're honest, those are kind of the corners of the internet.
Sure.
Which is wild because they are massive. But like if you were to walk up to 10 people on the street and be like, "You listen to NF?" Like most of them have never heard of NF.
Yeah.
Even though he's been out for 5 years, 7 years.
Probably think I'm talking about Nigel Farage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You like Nigel Farage?
Yeah, because that's something people regularly think about. Like, Nige. Gotta love Nige. Nige Farage.
Old Nige.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Last question.
Final question.
What book, movie, or TV show have you recently read, seen, or listened to that you would recommend, and why? Now, I'm going to limit you a little bit, because I know that once you get talking about passion, it's gone. Yeah, I mean it's word vomit at its best, but but that's why we do a podcast. So what would you recommend?
I kind of feel like. Hang on a second. I need
Yep.
because there's a couple of things that I would recommend.
Yeah.
Based on what I've been watching, but there's something I need to look up first. It's is it A24 movies?
You're just making stuff up at this point.
No.
A24?
So here's the thing. Yes, A24. They are I assume a production company.
Okay.
And they make movies like Midsummer, Lighthouse, Hereditary.
I got you. Yep.
Comes at Night.
Yeah.
Moonlight.
Yep.
All of those are good movies that I would recommend. The problem is that based on kind of the content. Turn off my camera.
Oh.
Based on the content of our podcast, I guess, but more importantly, like we have Bible studies up and stuff on our channel. I like spooky, scary movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of their movies, HE4, have that interesting twist to their movies. But more importantly to me, it's the cinematography behind those movies. And so if you like scary movies, that would be what I would recommend. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them have violence in them. A lot of them have like witchcraft and things like that in them. So if those are things that you actively avoid, which
Don't watch.
I actively avoid witchcraft, but when you're consuming movies
The
or content
projection,
or whatever,
projection of it, not
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual witchcraft. Yeah.
yeah, and none of those stories have good endings.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they have great endings, but they're not good endings.
They're
And
not gonna make you
so
like weep with tears of joy because they were so
exactly,
great. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, those are interesting movies to me.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I recommend them necessarily in the same way that I would recommend like Lord of the Rings or something like that,
Yeah.
because those can be wholesome to an extent,
Yeah.
even though violent. But yeah, so be careful around those things. But if that's something that you like, I know my sister loves scary movies and things like that. So the cinematography is really great, and
Yeah.
the imagery that they put on
Yep.
the screen is really good. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are good. I've seen a few of those. So yeah, and the cinematography is definitely part of the reason why you would watch it. Not necessarily. The story is still very good, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Gretel and Hansel
they're
as
beautiful.
well.
Yeah,
They're very
I know
good.
which one you're talking about. Yeah, I've not seen that though. I should check that one out. For me, so I just recently finished Ready Player One on audiobook. Which I had never read, I never listened to. I know the movie came out a few years ago. I haven't even seen the movie, but I was like, I just recently started listening to audiobooks again, and I just went down my list of what I had already purchased or what I already had, and it was on there, and I was like, I don't think I've listened to this, so I listened to it. I was really impressed by that book.
Yeah, it's such a good story.
Mostly because of how like detailed it is as far as like the culture of video games and everything that like he puts into that story is wild to me. So I would definitely recommend listening or reading Ready Player One. I haven't seen the movie, but I do want to watch it. My movie recommendation is definitely Knives Out. It's
yes,
Knives
that was so good.
Knives Out is 100% the modern day Clue. If you
Yeah.
love the movie Clue, which is my favorite movie of all time, Knives Out is up there. Like it's probably number 2 for me.
good.
I love Knives Out. It was fascinating. And if you want to see Daniel Craig do a Southern accent, which is hilarious.
Did he blow your
Dude,
mind? Did you know that was coming?
no.
I didn't remember
So-
from the trailers that was how it was, and he came out with that accent. I was like,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow.
I never even the only trailer I'd ever seen was like a teaser trailer, like 15-second trailer. So I didn't even know anything about the movie. I just got recommended. Somebody recommended it to me and said you have to watch Knives Out. I was like, okay. So I went. Oh my gosh! But when he started talking, I was like, yeah, what? Like it's not what you're expecting. So
it's a flavor
Yeah.
you got to get used to.
yeah, and then my TV recommendation is I believe it's just called Strike. You can get it on iTunes. It's really the only place I've been able to find it. And it's a British miniseries, the recreation of Robert Galbraith's Cormoran Strike series. So it's right now it's 7 episodes. Covers the first 3 books, and it's really really good. But I love British television, and I love kind of detective / cop style shows. So if that's not your thing, don't watch it. And I would also say it can be triggering for some people because it's a private detective show that deals with some hard stuff. So if you're
Murder.
well, yes, that, but also there's hard stuff that they look at. In some of the cases, I'm trying not to be overly graphic because I don't necessarily know who listens to it, but it deals with real life things that we have in our world today, like child abuse and sexual things of that nature. So it can be very hard and triggering for a lot of people. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you can't move past those kind of things. But it is very good. It's not particularly graphic, which is good. It's not bloody or violent or anything. But yeah, so those are my recommendations. That's what I've been watching recently. And I've listened to audiobooks again, which I've been enjoying. I don't know what I'm going to read next, but if you have something you listen to and you've made it this far, leave me some recommendations, and maybe I'll pick it up and listen to another one. So
I wanna see some recommendations.
Yeah, I would love some recommendations.
I need some non-fantasy books to read.
Yeah, you really do.
I need to reach out a little, or branch out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's either Star Wars or fantasy novels, and I'm like,
that's hilarious. That's what I love. That's all I got in my life. Oh my gosh. Well, that's this week's episode of Attempted Optimism Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think this was fun for both of us. We needed something a little lighthearted. And so next week, you can expect one of two things. We may go down nostalgia road, or we might be doing a second part to last week's episode where we talked a little bit about Black Lives Matter and all that's going on in our world. So one of those two things most likely next week, and we hope you've enjoyed. If you would like to, hit like, subscribe, follow us on iTunes or SoundCloud, and promote us if you'd like. We don't need it, but we certainly appreciate it. And so that's all I've got. You got anything left, Justin? He's always got to end like someone special. Catch you later.